Good morning, students. Welcome to today's class. Hope you all are fine. Let's start our class. So, this we will start with the third characteristic of matter, that is, particles of matter are in constant random motion. So, in this characteristics of matter, we are going to prove with a uh, experiment which was done by Brownian, which is called by Brownian motion. Okay, and this is called after the name of the scientist who have done this experiment, that is Robert Brown. Okay, after his name, this was called as Brownian motion. So what is the characteristic of matter? This we are going to discuss today. The characteristic which we are going to discuss, that is, particles of matter are in constant random motion. Particles of matter are in constant random motion. So after the name of Robert Brown, and this was known as the motion was called motion is called as Brownian motion. This is called Brownian motion. So what he observed, he has suspended some pollen grains in water. Okay, and through a uh, uh, with a magnifying glass, he observed the motion of this pollen grains. Okay, a suspended pollen grains means on the upper layer of the water, if we add some pollen grains, or just like if we add some chalk powder in water, this cannot get dissolved in water, so they will float on the upper surface of the water. So this is called suspension. Okay, just like this, if we add some pollen grains in water, then the pollen grains cannot get dissolved in water, so they will float on the upper surface of the water. Okay, or any liquid whichever we are taking. So he has taken water, and he observed the motion of water. Okay, motion of water particles. So when he watched the motion through this magnifying glass, he has shown that he uh, observed that uh, what he observed, when the particles of pollen grains, they are in random motion. The motion is in zigzag manner, or no such proper uh, motion was there. It was totally a random motion, a haphazard motion. Okay, so this motion was because of this motion, why he observed this, as the water molecules, they are in constant random motion, they are in a haphazard motion, and with this continuous motion of the water particles, as the suspended particles of pollen grains are also are attached with the particles of water. That's why he noticed the motion of the pollen grains in the same zigzag manner. Okay, so this motion was called Brownian motion, the motion which we will observe on a upper surface of a liquid. The random or haphazard motion of a suspended particle on the upper layer of a liquid is called Brownian motion. So this is defined by the haphazard random motion of suspended particles on the surface of a liquid or in air. It can be in a liquid, or in air also we can observe the same type of motion, same type of haphazard motion. Okay, this is called Brownian motion. So the motion will be just like no such proper path will be there. The particles of pollen grains, they will not follow any proper path. uh, the motion will be totally random or haphazard motion. So denote the particles if we denote the particles with this black color, with this points, with this black points, we will say, then these are the pollen grains, and the motion of this we are taking only one pollen grain. Okay, so this pollen grain, and at first it was in position A, and then after that it moved to B, and in this manner we can see its position, it change in this manner. Okay, and so on. So if we consider all pollen grains, they will change they will move in this same type of haphazard motion. Okay, so this motion is called Brownian motion, after the name of the scientist Robert Brown. Okay, as he has observed this first. So what we have observed here, if uh, some pollen grains are suspended in water, then the particles of pollen grains along with the molecules of water, they will move in a continuous random motion, a continuous haphazard motion, and that motion is called Brownian motion. So always we will see this kind of motion in a liquid or in gas. Okay, all the particles of matter will be in this, they will be in moving position. We will not see any constant or they will not be in rest position, we will say. Okay, always there will be some motion. Now come to the next part, that is called diffusion. So diffusion is another, because of this continuous motion of matter, we will see this this diffusion, and especially this we are going to see in we are going to observe diffusion in liquid and in gas. Okay, in solid we will not see this, because in solid there will be a the attractive force between the particles will be high. That's why there will be we will not observe any diffusion uh, in solid particles, but in gaseous the diffusion will be maximum, and in liquid also we can observe this diffusion. So let us discuss the definition part, uh, the definition of diffusion. So what is diffusion? The intermixing of particles, intermixing of two or more particles because of their constant random motion is called diffusion. Okay, this diffusion we can observe between two gaseous substances, or with one liquid and one gaseous substances, or we can we can observe this diffusion in a solid and liquid also. Okay, in liquid, if we add something, any solid, any colorful solid, then also we can observe the diffusion. So diffusion is intermixing of particles because of the intermixing of two or more particles, uh, two or uh, two or more particles. It may be gaseous, as I told, it may be gaseous or liquid, because of their constant random motion. So this very easy, in a very easy way, easy activity is there, that is activity 3. With the help of that we can very easily we can understand this diffusion, and this you can do at your home also. Okay, so for this what we need, we need some incense stick and two glass. Okay, this is a glass tumbler I have taken. So two such glass tumbler are required. So here what we are going to do, I'm going to light this incense sticks. So you can observe the smoke here. So this I'm going to take in this gas jar, in this glass. Okay, so this is there. You can see this. Okay, now another glass I will be taking. This is a clean glass. Here no smoke is there. Now what I will do, at a time I will be taking up, I will be removing my hand, and the second glass I will put just the mouth of this another glass. Okay, so in this manner you have to keep these two glasses, and after some time you can see, you can observe the smoke will diffuse to this glass also. Okay, so in this glass I have taken the smoke of the incense stick, but this glass was nothing was there, it was clear. But after some time, after few seconds only, you can observe the smoke will uh, move to this second glass also. Okay, so this is called diffusion. If we take any colorful gas and all, then you can observe it more prominently. But though we have only these things, we don't have, so we can use incense stick only. Okay, so this is in a very easy way you can prove this. You can do this activity for proving the diffusion process. Okay, so I'm keeping this here. I hope you understand what is diffusion. This diffusion we can observe in many ways. We can observe this in our daily life. One is the incense stick. You have seen, you must have noticed that when we are burning incense stick in a room or in one corner of a room, then you can get the smell. Just after few minutes you can get the smell from other room. Okay, or from everywhere of the house. So this is because the particles of air that will carry the particles of the smoke of the incense stick. So if we draw it in this manner, as the particles, suppose this is the, here I am drawing the air particles. Suppose these are the air particles. Okay, and here when we are burning the incense stick, suppose these green particles are these are the particles of the incense stick, the smoke particles of the incense stick. So this will get mixed up with the air particles, air molecules, and now as we know, air is moving continuously. So along with the air, the particles of incense stick, as this is in gaseous form, so easily they also can be carried through with the particles of air. Okay, and it will scatter, it will get mixed in the particle with particles of air in the whole house. Okay, so the same thing you can observe, this process is called diffusion. The same thing you can observe with the perfume. Okay, so when we are spraying the perfume, as this is in when it was in liquid form at first, as alcohol is there, so soon is easily it will get it will be as the boiling point of this alcohol, or the solvent which we are using, that is its boiling point is very low, very less. That's why easily from liquid form it will come to the gaseous form. Okay, so the gaseous particles of the perfume will again get mixed into the air particles, and they will move into the house very easily. They can diffuse with the particles of air very easily, and they will get scattered all over in the room, and we can get the fragrance from any corner of the room, or from even from the other rooms of the house. Okay, so these are the common or very common example, we will say, which in our daily life we can observe. Common example of diffusion. The same thing happens when you add some ink. Suppose 1 or 2 drops of ink if you add in water, then, and no need to stir it. Okay, if you just add 1 or 2 drops of ink in water, after some time you will see the it will start diffusing. Okay, so how we will see this, how we will observe this? If we suppose in a glass you have taken some water, so at first few changes we will observe here. At first, suppose here the middle you have dropped 1 drop of ink. Okay, it was in this position. After some time, without shaking this, if you keep it in this manner, after some time what we will see, what we will observe, this will start diffusing in this manner. That means few more area of waters, few more spaces of water it has taken, and it will spread in this manner. Okay, and after some time, after suppose 10 minutes, you will see the whole water will become the color of the, will get the color of the ink. Okay, that means if we use the green color, then the whole water will become greenish. Okay, so this is also another example of diffusion. So diffusion is the intermixing of particles because of the constant movement of the particles, constant motion of the particles to get a uniform mixture, we will say. Okay, the diffusion will be there because of to get a uniform mixture. After, see, when we have added this at this position, at the concentration of the ink was maximum. Okay, after that the concentration of ink and water, that will get on mixed together. These two will get mixed together, and the concentration means the particles, there will be a total mixing of the particles. And after, at this position, what we will see, suppose these are the particles of water, if you say, these green color particles, these are the particles of ink. That means here the spreading of the ink will be uniform. There will be a uniform spreading of the particles. Okay, so diffusion is to attain this position. Okay, here in the first one, the particles have not mixed together properly, and at that, after diffusion, when the process will be over, we will see there will be a uniform distribution of the particles. So to attain this, we will this diffusion will take place. Okay, next, fourth characteristic of particle, that is characteristic of matter, that is particles of matter attract each other. There will be a attractive force between the particles of matter. It may be solid, it may be liquid, or it may be gas, but in all kind of matter, there will be, in between the particles, there will be a attractive force, but this attractive force will vary. This will change, means if we change the matter to matter, this will vary. Or the solid, two different solids also may not have, will not have actually same type of same amount of attractive force between them. Okay, it's very easy to break a piece of chalk easily if we apply some pressure. If we apply some force, we can break a piece of chalk very easily, but it will be difficult if instead of chalk, if we take a piece of coal. Or it will be even difficult, more difficult if we take a piece of iron. So all these three are solid, but as the matter are different, as the matters are different, as chalk, coal, and the piece of iron, they differ from each other. So the attractive force between the particles of these matters will differ. Okay, the attractive force in chalk will be the lowest among these three, and the attractive force between the particles of iron will be maximum among these three. Okay, so these are the characteristics of matter which we have learned up to this. And today's class, here only I will end our today's class, and after that we are going to start the states of matter and all. So this we are going to do in our next class. Till then, you study, go through this part whichever we have done today, and take very good care of yourself. Have a nice day.